Late on Monday night, two gay men were walking through Kensington in Calgary. They were just going for a walk, minding their own business, when allegedly 4 individuals rolled up on lime scooters, and 2 of them dismounted, picked up a garbage bin, stones, and took off their belt and started whipping, stoning, and lacerating the 2 individuals, all because apparently they were gay, and these folks just didn't like that. Now, we're not sure why there's no mainstream media articles about this hate crime that took place over 24 hours ago now. Rebel News seems to be the only ones on the beat. I published this information on Twitter earlier this morning. Still not a peep from CBC. Nothing from Global News or CTV. I've had time actually to go to the business, to the storefront of one of the individuals who Rebel News has identified as a likely perpetrator of this crime. Now, we're saying likely because he hasn't returned any of our messages, any of our calls. For some reason, he closed down his barber shop on a beautiful sunny Tuesday day. The lights were off, nobody was home. People wanted to get a haircut, but for some reason, they closed down today. And I actually spoke with a business owner who's right next to this barber shop who we identified. And I asked him, have you seen this individual? I showed him the pictures and, well, watch for yourself.
See here, he has a belt in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Here, he has a stone in his hand. And this guy's taking off his belt.
Why they do that? Yeah, that's him, yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
The business owner says that, yep, that absolutely is that individual. And if that is true, the assailant in this hate crime, his name would be Ahmad Borhat. I've been on and off the phone with the Calgary Police Service throughout the day trying to figure out if they have any suspects, any leads, any arrests. No arrests have been made, and they have no suspects. It seems like Rebel News is the only one that cares about this story. Why is Global News, CBC, CTV not doing stories about this? Well, we know why. It doesn't fit their narrative. It's not an old white guy that they can pin this assault on, so they're not covering the story at all. In fact, Global News has actually done a story on this very same individual, but it was just a puff piece. Watch this.
He'd only been open 2 weeks when the COVID-19 pandemic forced this Brentwood barber to put down his clippers.
I was like, what did I do?
But as he watched the situation unfold around the globe, Ahmed Borhat was thankful he could stay safe at home.
Me, if they gave me the option to open during the coronavirus, I'd say no, right? Especially when it first came out, right? Like, everybody was getting sick. There's so much cases. It was everywhere.
And his appreciation kept growing for all the people who kept working to provide essential services.
Seeing like the nurses, doctors, even the Walmart employees, Sobeys, Superstore, all that stuff, right? It's like, it's good for them that they're doing that. They're risking their lives for us, right?
Now that he's back in business, Borhat is opening his doors to all essential workers and their families for free haircuts until July 15th.
It'll show them that we appreciate what they're doing, right? And this is our way of saying thank you.
Oh, he was cutting the hair of frontline workers. How nice. A minority businessman, entrepreneur doing great work for Canadians. Well, it turns out that on the side, he might just be a gay basher. He might be a lyncher, someone who lacerates gay men just because they're walking on the street arm in arm. And I'm here at the scene of the crime. This is the very location where one of the most egregious hate crimes in recent memory has taken place on the streets of Calgary. You can see right there the same house, the same street, the same bush, and yes, the very same blue bin that was thrown at the unsuspecting gay couple who were walking down the riverfront street here in the Kensington area of Calgary. Now, I came here on location to see a few things, to do some shoe leather journalism, to speak with the folks who live in these houses to see what they witnessed. Unfortunately, they weren't home. I was hoping to see the police to see if they were doing any investigating, maybe getting fingerprints on this bin. No, nothing. Maybe I would have seen the mainstream media, the CBC, Global News, CTV, talking about this egregious hate crime, this violent assault on the streets of Calgary. Because it was an ethnic minority that violently assaulted a sexual minority, well, it just doesn't jive. And I guess we know whose team the mainstream media is on. The only way you're going to see stories that don't fit the mainstream media liberal narrative is by subscribing to Rebel News and contributing to our work if you can. If you can go to helprebelnews.com and support our work, it would be much appreciated so we can continue exposing the liberal narrative in the mainstream media for not doing their jobs.